Hello class. This lecture is going to be about the last few sections of chapter 26, Parallelism Pandiatonicism, right? So let's look at parallelism. This is bottom of page 482. It says here in the book, you may have noticed now that the current treatment of texture plays a significant role in our perception of music since 1900, right? Texture, vertical sonorities, colors, timbres, right? Oh, that's what it goes on to say. Instrumental timbre, the structure of the chords, the doublings, the vertical space, and the melodic construction, and the method of movement. All these aspects contribute significantly to our impression of the music as having a tonal center or not. One of the earliest indications of a break with traditional procedures of harmonic progression was the use of parallel motion between chord members. In some forms, of course, parallelism has been known before the 20th century. You've already been exposed to parallel sixth chords in a tonal concept, as illustrated in example 26-24, right? So, lead sheet symbols, right? Here's a really common. Right? It's diatonic. It's diatonic, right? What we're getting into, though, however, is planing, right? So, the book calls it parallelism. Some people you hear it called planing, right? But parallelism is simply moving chords in one fashion, right? We see a lot of this in piano exercises. Right, Josiah, we had some parallelism, right? That excerpt I was always practicing. That's parallelism. And more importantly, it's diatonic parallelism. For this lecture, I'm going to call it planing, right? So planing, diatonic planing, right, versus real planing. Diatonic planing you could imagine as taking a major triad and just going up diatonically within a scale. Real planing, right, true planing, is when we take the quality and move it up or down on the piano, right? So if we were to do real planing, we start with a C major chord. All of the subsequent triads must be major. So that would be an example of real planing. Diatonic planing, right? In the key. Real planing, keeping the quality of the chord. So here we have another section in 26-26, this example here of another section of the Sunken Cathedral, Debussy. And this has to deal with planing. Let's listen to it. I'm not going to play the whole excerpt, you guys get the idea. What's interesting to note is there's different subcategories of diatonic planing. There's planing where we do a strict planing, right? Right? Where each chord is planed up or down, right? We might have C major starting here, and I might say start on E minor in the right hand. Right? That would be something, well, it goes on the book occasionally kind of mixed planing, parallel voice motion that can be explained neither by consistency or chord type, nor by the limitations of a single scale. Right? That's not essentially what we're talking about here. If we look at Debussy's example, that's, yes, each hand is planing, right? But we're keeping the same chord. So the first chord would be C, then D minor, then G, F, E minor, D minor. But they're in different inversions, right? The right hand is in root position and the left hand is in second inversion. Still planing that way, right? A really famous song that uses planing would be Lean on Me. Really popular example of that. Mixed planing, as I just stated, is really kind of a mixture of both, where the composer is just going up and down. So let's look at example 26-7. It's constrained neither by the consistency or chord type, nor by the limitations of a single scale. So in this example, we're in the key of A major, but some of it's diatonic, some of it's chromatic, right? So if we were to start. So, planing, yes. Mixed planing, though. Okay? Let's go down and let's look at example 26-28, right? Let's look at this as terms of parallelism. Keeping the same chords, right, of the previous section, right? Right? Simply playing around, going up and down with the chords. The next couple examples, 26-29, right? A little bit more sparse example of planing, right? I'll play it for you real quick. Minor sixth, right? Bartok Concerto for Orchestra, this is the piano reduction. Planing thirds, right? Parallel thirds, you might call them. These are all just examples that composers using parallelism. Let's move on real quick to kind of close this chapter out with Pandiatonicism. And the book defines Pandiatonicism as the attempt to equalize the 7 tones of the diatonic scale, right? We can kind of think of Pandiatonicism as the diatonic cousin to atonal music, where all 11 chromatic steps are equal, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those 12 tones are treated equal. Whereas in Pandiatonicism is all 7 tones of the diatonic scale. And that could be minor, it could be major, right? It could even be modes, right? But they're all treated equal. They're trying to equalize. So we're trying to shy away from tendency tones. We're trying to shy away from harmonic tendencies, right? So let's listen to this Barber piece of music. Barber, American composer, right? Let's listen to this. So Pandiatonicism is used frequently, not necessarily for an entire work or an entire movement of a piece of music, but definitely to make the listener's ear, lead that listener's ear towards ambiguity, right? So he's taking essentially a G flat minor scale, or excuse me, G flat major scale, and focusing more on the direction of the lines. Right? There's not really, I kind of added a little bit of a 5 extended tertian harmony ending on there, but that's not how the piece ends, right? So any kind of piece. There's an example of Pandiatonicism, just noodling around in a tonal center, right? Bartok's Subject and Reflection, Microcosmos, number 141 is another example of that. Right? Do we hear any kind of tendency tones in there? No. No, he's trying to eliminate tendency tones where we have a note that wants to go to another note. No, no. It's very, very soothing, I think. Some people find pandiatonic music very meditative, in a sense. So, class, this wraps up chapter 26. I encourage you to do, oh no, excuse me, we still have rhythm and meter to go over. So that'll be the next lecture that we go over, and rhythmic meters. That wraps up, excuse me, I forgot. This wraps up the tonal section of chapter 26. I encourage you to go through and do these self-tests because the answers are in the back of the book. As always, get a hold of me, text me, email me if you have any questions about this, and look at those demonstrations of the homework.